Hello children, good morning to all of you. Welcome back in physics class. In the previous lecture we have started your second chapter, motion in one dimension. And in that chapter we have started your first section, some terms related to motion. And in that chapter we have studied all these terms. Today we will learn how to solve the numericals based on these. But before that I am going to give a short review on these. We have studied physical quantities, about which we have learned all those quantities which are measurable, which we can measure. Like distance we can measure, time we can measure, density we can measure, volume and area we can measure. So all those quantities which can be measured are called physical quantities. Then after we studied scalars and vectors. These two are the classifications of the physical quantities. Scalar quantities are those which require only magnitude, no direction. And vectors are those quantities which require magnitude and direction both. Then after we studied motion and rest position. About motion we studied that if object changes its place, then object is said to be in motion. And if the object does not change its position, then that object is called in rest position. Then after we studied that if the motion of the object is on a straight path, then that type of motion is called rectilinear or linear motion. And that motion is also termed as motion in one dimension. But if the object moves on a curved path, then that motion is called motion in two dimension. Understood? If the object moves in a space, then that motion is called motion in three dimension. But we have to study only one, which is motion in one dimension. Okay? Then after we studied about distance and displacement. About distance I told you the actual length of the path covered by a body. Suppose there is a point A from where one body starts moving and after 10 meter it reaches to point B. Now from B at 90 degree it moves to point C by 10 meter. In this case, if we want to find the distance, then that is equal to AB plus BC, which is equal to 10 meter plus 10 meter, that is 20 meter. But if we want to find the displacement, then displacement is the direct distance between A and C, between initial and final position. This direct length is called the displacement. To find it, since it is a right triangle, here displacement is AC, which we can find by applying the Pythagoras theorem. Because in a right angle triangle Pythagoras theorem is applied. So how to find the displacement here? Square root of 10 square plus 10 square. That means 100 plus 100. That is 200. If you solve it, it is 10 root 2 meter. Means 10 into 1.414. That is approximate 14.14 meter. This is the process by which we can obtain the displacement. Since we are going to solve numericals, it is compulsory to see for us. Understood these two or not? How to find the distance? Distance is the actual length of the path covered by the body. And displacement is the shortest distance between initial and final position. Take one more example. Suppose the body starts from P and it goes to 100 kilometer and reaches to point Q. And then after, from there it returns back. Return back to 150 kilometer and reach to points R. In this case, what will be the distance? Distance will be 100 plus 150. 250 kilometer is the distance. Here the displacement is the distance between P and R. So how will you find it? PQ minus QR, which is 100 minus 150 means minus 50 kilometer. The minus sign is denoting the opposite direction of the motion. In starting the P from the point P, the object goes in the direction of Q. But at the finally, it was opposite to the P, and that is why negative sign here. Understood? In this way, we are able to find the distance and displacement. Then after we studied speed and velocity. What was the speed, children? Speed is equal to distance upon time. This is the formula. If distance is given, time is given, we can find the speed. The noted point is here, unit of speed is meter per second or kilometer per hour. Now you have to know how to convert kilometer per hour into meter per second and meter per second into kilometer per hour. Only that is the noted point. See here. Suppose you want to convert 1 kilometer per hour into meter per second, then we know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter and 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds. By solving it, see here, 0 0 cancel. 2 into 5 is 10, 2 into 18 is 36. Means 5 by 18 meter per second. This term we will use as a formula. Suppose the question is asking, convert 72 kilometer per hour into meter per second. Then this 72 will be directly multiplied by 5 by 18 and it will be converted into meter per second. That is why learn this term. 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18. Now 18 dividing it by 4 means 20 meter per second. 72 kilometer per hour is equal to 20 meter per second. And 1 meter per second will be equal to, by cross multiplication you can see that 18 by 5 kilometer per hour. 1 meter per second is equal to 18 by 5 kilometer per hour. Suppose you have to convert 40 meter per second into kilometer per hour, then directly this number will be multiplied by 18 by 5. This is the noted term for you. How to convert meter per second into kilometer per hour? By multiplying 18 by 5. Now see, 5 dividing it 40 by 8 times, 18 into 8, 144. 18 into 8 is 144 kilometer per hour. Understood these things? Now, after that you studied the average speed, average velocity and so on. How to find the average speed? See one example. Suppose one object is covering 50 km with the speed of 20 km per hour, and then the next 40 km by the speed of 40 km per hour, then what will be the average speed? Question is understood? One vehicle is covering 50 km with the speed of 25 km per hour, and then the next 40 km with the uniform speed of 20 km per hour, then how to find the average speed? How to find the average speed? To find the average speed, we know the formula, total distance upon total time. Total distance we can find by adding these two, 50 plus 40. But time is not given here. So first we will find the time. Time to cover 50 km is equal to distance upon speed, and answer will come in R, because kilometer to kilometer will be cancelled, answer will come in R. Understood? Time to cover 50 km will be how much? 2 hours. Now, time to cover 40 km, it will be 40 upon 20 hours. That means this is also 2 hours. Now we can find the average speed. Average speed is equal to total distance, which is 50 plus 40 km. and total time is 2 plus 2 hours. That means 90 by 4, which is 22.5 kilometer per hour. Understood, everybody? How to find the average speed? If total time and total distance is given, then to directly we can apply average speed is equal to total distance upon total time. But if it is not given, then first we will find the unknown terms. Like here, distance is given but time is not given. So first we have found time in the both distances, and then we will apply the formula for average speed. Okay? About acceleration, you have studied that acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. Suppose that one object is moving with velocity u. After time t, its final velocity becomes v. A body is moving with velocity u. After t time, the velocity becomes v. Then according to the definition of acceleration, rate of change of velocity, change in velocity will be v minus u, and it is divided by time. So this is the formula for acceleration. Acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time. By cross multiplication, you can see that at is equal to v minus u. If u is transferred this side, u plus at is equal to v. This is called the first equation of motion. What is it called? First equation of motion. Understood? Now by using these formula which we have studied, we are going to solve some numericals. Pause the video and note down these things. Okay children, now we are going to solve some numericals. See, I have written here. The velocity of an object increases at a constant rate from 20 meter per second to 50 meter per second in 10 seconds. Find acceleration. See how to solve it. When you are going to solve the numericals, first write down the given points. See here, initial velocity is given 20 meter per second. Initial velocity is denoted by small u. Final velocity is denoted by small v, and it is given 50 meter per second. And time is given 10 seconds. And question is asking find the acceleration. We know that acceleration is equal to v minus u upon t. A is denoting to acceleration. Now put the value and calculate it. V is 50, u is 20 upon 10. That means 30 upon 10. That means 3 meter per second square. Meter per second square is the unit of acceleration. Is this difficult, children? I hope it's very easy. Read your question, write down the given points and see what you have to find. What you have to find, apply the formula, put the value and calculate it. See the second question. A pebble thrown vertically upwards with an initial velocity 50 meter per second. See here. Initial velocity is 50 meter per second. Comes to a stop. Comes to a stop means final velocity becomes 0. Body stops means final velocity is 0. And time is 5 seconds. Time is 5 seconds. Then find the retardation. Children, retardation is also acceleration. The difference is, in the case of acceleration, the velocity increases. But in the case of retardation, the velocity decreases. That means, again you will apply the formula for acceleration. And it will be v minus u upon t. Now put the value. V is 0, u is 50 and t is 5. Means minus 50 upon 5 means minus 10 meter per second square. This minus sign is showing that acceleration is negative. Acceleration is negative means retardation. Understood? if the value of acceleration is negative coming, it means the velocity of the body is decreasing. Understood? Now see the third question. A bicycle initially moving with a velocity 5 meter per second. See, what is the given point? Initial velocity is 5 meter per second. Accelerates for 5 seconds. That means time is given 5 seconds. At a rate of 2 meter per second square. Here acceleration is 2 meter per second square. Then what will be the final velocity? See, all the given points we have noted. Initial velocity is 5 meter per second, time is 5 seconds, acceleration is 2 meter per second square, and final velocity we have to find. Okay, so how to find the velocity? We know that v is equal to u plus at. This is the arrangement of the formula for acceleration we have seen just before few minutes. When you arrange the formula for acceleration, a is equal to v minus u upon t. When you will arrange, you will get this equation. Okay. From this equation, we can put the value and we can find the value of final velocity. Initial velocity is 5, acceleration is 2, time is 5. Now calculate and get your answer. 5 plus 10 means 15 meter per second will be the final velocity. Understood? Now pause the video and note down these things. Okay children, we have completed the first section of second chapter. We have done the numerical also. Now we are going to start second section, graphical representation of linear motion. We know that linear motion means motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line means motion in one dimension. So children, motion in one dimension or rectilinear motion can be studied well by these graphs: displacement time graph, velocity time graph, and acceleration time graph. Okay, with the help of these graphs we can understand well the linear motion. Now here one noted point is there for you. Since in the case of linear motion, the direction of the motion does not change, the objects move in a straight line, therefore the displacement time graph and distance time graph both are same. Similarly, velocity time graph and speed time graph is also same. Understood? See, I have written here. Displacement time graph and distance time graph are same. Velocity time graph and speed time graph are also same. When we represent the displacement time graph, on the x-axis we take time and on the y-axis we take displacement. Understood? See here. So first we are going to study displacement time graph. Okay? See children, when we are denoting the graph, time we will take on x-axis and displacement we will take on y-axis. We know that velocity is equal to displacement upon time. It means with the help of displacement time graph, we will be able to find velocity. And how to find? Since velocity is distance or displacement upon time, when we draw the graph, then we will get a line and slope of the line will give us the velocity. Now, how to draw the graph? We will take some cases. In the first case, suppose that the object is in rest position. Okay, now see how to draw the graph. Suppose that time we are taking in seconds. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second and 5 second. Displacement we are taking in meter. See, this is 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, 40 meter, 50 and 60 and so on. On the graph paper, you can take the scale. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 second in x-axis and 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meter on y-axis. This scale we will suppose. Now, the first condition is the object is in rest position. Suppose the object is somewhere here. Suppose at 40 meter we are keeping. The object is here and it is in the rest position. After 1 second, again the object will be at the same place. After 2 seconds, again the object will be at the same place because the object is not in motion. So displacement will not be changed. Since the object is at the same position, displacement will not be changed. So after 3 seconds, again it will be at the same place. After 4 seconds, it will be at the same place. If you join all these points, you will get a line which is parallel to x-axis. Are you watching? If the object is in rest position, the graph is a straight line parallel to x-axis. X-axis means time axis. Understood? This is the first graph. What is the conclusion here? If the graph is parallel to the x-axis, we can say that the object is in the rest position. This is the conclusion. After watching the graph, you can say that the object is in the rest position. If object is in the rest position and you are drawing the graph, then you will get such type of graph. Understood? Now we are going to start second case. Second case is if the object is moving with uniform velocity. Have you remembered what do you mean by uniform velocity? If the object is covering the same distance in same interval of time in a particular direction, that means same displacement in same interval of time. So when we draw the graph, see here, x-axis, this is y-axis, this is origin. On the x-axis we will denote the time. Suppose it is in second. 1 second, 2 second, 3, 4, 5 and 6. On the y-axis we will denote the displacement. Suppose this is in meter. Okay. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, 40 meter and 50 meter. Okay. Suppose the object is covering in 1 second 10 meter. In 1 second 10 meter. In 2 seconds 20 meter. In 3 seconds 30 meter. In 4 seconds 40 meter. Understood? In 1 second 10 meter, then in the 2 second it should be 20, in 3 second 30, in 4 second 40. Then we will say that it is the uniform velocity. Now with the help of a scale, if you join all these points, you will get a line which is inclined to x-axis. Are you watching? This line is inclined to x-axis. This line is inclined to x-axis. Now to find the velocity, we will find the slope of this line. Now how to find the slope of this line? To find the slope of this line, take any 2 points. Suppose this point I am taking A, this point I am taking as B. Now we will find the slope of AB. Understood? Any points you can take. Suppose this one is A and this one is B. To find the slope of AB, from B also we will draw perpendicular on x-axis and a perpendicular on y-axis. From A also one perpendicular on x-axis and y-axis. Suppose this point is, and from A we will draw perpendicular to this on this also. Okay, suppose this point is C, it is D, this one is E, this point is F, and this point is G. Okay, understood? From B we have drawn the perpendicular on x-axis also, y-axis also. From A also we will draw perpendicular on x-axis and y-axis. From A we will increase this line to on BD also, and which intersects at C. Okay, now here velocity will be slope of AB. Now how to find the slope of AB? The slope of AB will be equal to BC upon AC. This is the noted point. How to find the slope? By perpendicular upon base, means by BC upon AC. Now what will be the value of BC? You can see that from BD, if we subtract CD, this total BD is 40, we can see from here. This CD is equal to 20, we can see from the graph. So if we subtract CD from BD, we can get BC. Similarly, how to find AC? From FC, if we subtract FA, we can get AC. Now from the graph, put the value. BD is 40 minus 20. 20 is the CD, while BD is the 40. FC is how much? FC is equal to OD here, that means 4. 4 minus 2. 40 minus 20 is 20 upon 4 minus 2 is 2, that means 10 meter per second. Because we are finding the velocity, this slope will give us the velocity, that means 10 meter per second is the velocity. Have you seen how to draw the graph? Since the body is moving with uniform velocity, the same displacement in same interval of time. In 1 second 10 meter, in 2 seconds 20 meter, in 3 seconds 30, in 4 seconds 40 meter. By joining the points we will get a straight line which is inclined to x-axis. Now we will find the slope of this line. To find the slope of this line, we will take 2 points on the line. One point we have taken in front of 20, that point we are taking A. Second point I have taken in front of 40, you can take anywhere. And from the graph you can find the value of that particular point. Like here I have taken in front of 40B. We can find the slope of AB, that will be the slope of this line also. Okay. To find the slope, from B one perpendicular is drawn on x-axis, one perpendicular is drawn on y-axis. On the x-axis it is meeting at D, on the y-axis it is meeting at G. From A also perpendicular on x-axis and perpendicular on y-axis. On perpendicular it is joining at E, on y-axis it is joining at F. This FA is increased in opposite direction, which is increasing BD at C. Definitely this is perpendicular to each other. Okay. To find the slope of AB, we have to calculate BC upon AC. BC upon AC is the slope. To find the value of BC, from the graph you can see that from BD if we subtract CD, we will get the value of BC. To find AC, if we subtract FA from FC, then we can get the value of AC also. Now by putting these values, BD is 40, CD is 20, FC is 4, FA is 2. 40 minus 20 is 20, 4 minus 2 is 2, that means 10 meter per second is the velocity. Is this clear? Now pause the video and note down these things. Okay children, 2 cases we have seen. Now see the third case. In the first 2 cases you have seen when the object is at rest position, that was the first case. The second case was when the object is moving with uniform velocity, and the third case when the object moves with variable velocity. With variable velocity means non-uniform. Non-uniform velocity means unequal displacement in equal interval of time. So see how to plot the graph. On the x-axis we take time, on the y-axis we take displacement. Suppose displacement is in meter. This is origin, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5, 6. This one is 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, 40, 50, 60 and so on. In the case of non-uniform velocity, if we plot the graph, we get a curved line here. If values are given and we plot the graph, we will find a curve. Now, to find the velocity by this graph, we draw tangent at any point. At any point, we draw tangent. Suppose this is the tangent. We will find the velocity at a particular point, velocity at this point. To find the velocity, we have to find the slope of this tangent. Now, how to find the slope? Again, we will take 2 points. Suppose in front of 40, I am taking 1 point here, and in front of 10, we are taking 1 point here. This point is A and this point is B. That means in this case, velocity at, this is the tangent point, na? Velocity at, suppose this point is P. Velocity at point P will be equal to slope of AB. Understood how to find the velocity in the case of non-uniform velocity? Because at every point the velocity will be changed. So where we want to find the velocity, at that point we will draw tangent and we will find the slope of the tangent. Okay, after this the method is same. From here, suppose it is meeting at 5 and this is at 2. Suppose it is 2. Okay. Increase A in opposite direction. Suppose this point is C. Process is understood. We will take any 2 points on this slope. 1 point I have taken in front of 40, in front of 5, in front of 10, in front of 2. This point I am taking A, this point suppose it is B. Okay, when we join, then both are intersecting at C. Understood? Now, how to find the slope of AB? It will be equal to BC upon AC. And what will be BC? BC is equal to 40 by 10. 40 minus 10. And what will be AC? 5 minus 2. That means 30 upon 3, 10 meter per second. At the point P, when the object was moving, at this place, the velocity is 10 meter per second. Is this clear? Now, what is the conclusion from these 3 graphs? From this graph you are watching that if the graph is curved, you can say that the velocity is non-uniform velocity. Now note down these things. After that we will see the conclusion of these graphs. Now see children, what are the conclusion of these graphs? See here, if the graph is a straight line parallel to time axis, the velocity is 0. Velocity is 0 if the graph is parallel to x-axis. If the graph is a straight line inclined to x-axis, the velocity is uniform. That means the object is moving with uniform velocity. Third one, if the graph is a curve, the velocity is non-uniform. If we are finding a curve, in the third case we have seen, if the graph is a curve, means the object is moving with non-uniform velocity. Now the last one, in the displacement time graph, the slope of the line gives the velocity. That means velocity is found by slope of the line. Now one noted point, children. In the case of displacement time graph, we will never get a line parallel to y-axis. We will never get this situation, because the meaning of this is time is not increasing and the displacement is increasing to infinite. That means object is moving with infinite velocity and time is not increasing. This situation is not possible. That is why such type of graph will never get. Understood? Now the second graph we will see in the next period. Till now, learn all these things what we have studied. Do the practice of the numericals and don't forget to solve the assignment which I have attached with this video. Okay? Bye bye.